The following video is designed to help you understand the application process for receiving food stamps. If you do not view this entire video or complete your face-to-face interview with your worker, your interview may be considered incomplete and your application for food stamps may be denied.
You did not attach proof.
Before we begin going over your application, we first need to discuss your rights and responsibilities as a food stamp applicant or recipient. First, let's look at your rights. You have the right to file an application the same day you contact the food stamp office, even if they cannot interview you on the same day. You have the right to have your application acted upon without regard to race, sex, religion, national origin, age, handicap, or political belief. You have the right to request assistance from your worker in providing the necessary information to process your application. You have the right to have your application acted upon within 30 days. You have the right to receive benefits within 7 days if at least one of the following conditions apply and you are not currently in certification. Your household's monthly rent or mortgage and utilities are more than your household's gross monthly income. Your household's gross monthly income is less than $150 and your household's liquid resources are less than $100. You are a migrant or seasonal farm worker. You have the right to have your application filled out by an authorized representative who knows your situation. You have the right to have your authorized representative or any responsible household member complete the interview with the food stamp worker. You have the right to appoint someone outside your household to purchase food for your household. If your application is denied, you have the right to know why. You have the right to know the reason your case is terminated or your benefits are decreased during the certification period. You have the right to confidentiality of the information given to the food stamp office. The use or disclosure of this information will be made only for certain limited purposes allowed under state and federal laws and regulations. You have the right to request a fair hearing and to examine your food stamp case in relation to any hearing you may have. Now let's take a look at some of your responsibilities. It is your responsibility to keep the appointment given to you by the food stamp office. If you cannot keep this appointment, please call the food stamp office. Any responsible household member or your authorized representative may come to your appointment on your behalf. It is your responsibility to provide complete and correct information on your application and to your food stamp worker. You must provide documents necessary to verify that the information is complete and correct. These include, but are not limited to, pay stubs, mortgage payments and rent receipts, utility bills, benefit award letters. If documents are not available, you must agree to give the name of an individual, company, or organization the food stamp office may contact to get this information. Upon request and with your cooperation, the food stamp office can assist you in obtaining this information. If you are not a quarterly reporting household, it is your responsibility to report changes in your household situation within 10 days of the changes, such as someone moving into or out of your household, income changes including increases and decreases of more than $25 per month, acquisition of a vehicle, when cash on hand, stocks, bonds, and money in a checking or savings account exceed $2,000, $3,000 if there is a household member age 60 or over. Some households have to report quarterly on a quarterly report form whether or not there have been any changes and return it to the food stamp office. Your worker will tell you if you must report quarterly and how to complete a quarterly report form. Failure to timely and accurately report changes may result in receiving food stamps to which you are not entitled and which you may have to pay back. If you do not have a change report form, please be sure to ask your worker to provide you with one. It is your responsibility to provide Social Security numbers for everyone in your household. If someone does not have a Social Security number, your worker will tell you how and where to apply for one. You are responsible for any information given on this application form, either by yourself, someone in your household, or your authorized representative. With certain exceptions, able-bodied persons between 16 and 60 years of age who are not in school must register for work and accept a job if one is offered. Failure to comply with work registration requirements and activities results in sanctions against the individual or the entire household. In addition, a mandatory work registrant who voluntarily quits a job of at least 20 hours a week or reduces the number of work hours to less than 30 hours per week without good cause is also subject to sanctions against the individual or the entire household. Disqualification of an individual or household shall be applied for a minimum time period of 1, 3, or 6 months, even if the individual cures the disqualification during that period. If the individual has failed to comply at the end of the disqualification period, the disqualification shall continue until the individual cures the disqualification or becomes exempt from work registration requirements. Your worker will explain who in your household must register for work and what the penalties are for failure to comply with these requirements. Unless exempt, certain food stamp recipients between the age of 18 and 50 who are able-bodied and have no dependents are eligible to receive food stamps for only 3 months in a 36-month period if they are not working or participating in a work and training program for at least 20 hours a week. Individuals are exempt from this during the time they are physically or mentally unfit for employment, during the time they are pregnant, if they are the parent or other household member with responsibility for a dependent child in the home who is under the age of 18 or is physically or mentally disabled, if they are participating in complying with work registration requirements of jobs or UCB, if they are caring for an incapacitated person, if they are a student at least half-time in a recognized school, training program, or institution of higher education, or if they are participating in an alcohol or drug treatment program. If you do not understand the questions on the application, ask the food stamp worker to explain them. The information you give us will be checked to make sure your household is eligible for food stamps. Federal, state, and local officials will check the information. It will be checked by using the State Income and Eligibility Verification System, other computer matching systems, program reviews, and audits. Some information may also be sent to the Immigration and Naturalization Service to see if the information you gave us is correct. The information you give us may also be checked by other federal aid programs and federally aided state programs, such as school lunch, family assistance, and Medicaid. If any information is found to be incomplete or incorrect, you may be denied food stamps. If you give us false information on purpose, legal action may be taken against you. You will also have to pay back the amount of benefits that you should not have received. Any member who breaks any of the following rules on purpose will be barred from receiving food stamps from 12 months to permanently. A court can also order an individual off the program for an additional 18 months. The individual can also be fined up to $250,000, sent to jail for 20 years, or both. Additional criminal or civil action may be taken against the individual under other federal laws. Any person authorized by you to act on behalf of your household may be removed from participation as a representative for up to 1 year, or may be subject to fines and prosecution, or both, if they break any of these rules on purpose. Do not give false information or hide information to get or continue to get food stamps. Individuals found to have made a fraudulent statement concerning their identity or residence in order to receive multiple benefits simultaneously will be ineligible to receive benefits for 10 years. Individuals found guilty of using food stamps to purchase firearms, ammunition, or explosives will be disqualified from the food stamp program permanently. Individuals found guilty of trafficking food stamp benefits of more than $500 will be disqualified from the food stamp program permanently. Individuals convicted of a federal or state felony that has an element of the possession, use, or distribution of a controlled substance will be disqualified from the food stamp program permanently if the felony offense took place after August 22, 1996. Do not trade or sell food stamps. Do not use someone else's benefits. Do not use food stamp benefits to buy ineligible items such as alcoholic drinks and tobacco. The state of Alabama delivers food benefits by electronic benefits transfer, or EBT. Each household is issued a plastic EBT card and a personal identification number, or PIN, as well as information on how to use the EBT card. These items are mailed to the household. The household must then call the 1-800 number to activate the EBT card. Once the card is activated, the household can access their EBT account and use their benefits. Ongoing issuance for eligible households is done monthly based on a 15-day staggered issuance cycle. The issuance cycle begins each month on the 4th calendar day and continues until the 18th calendar day of the month. Each household is given a specific day to receive benefits based on the last 2 numbers of the food stamp case number. Benefits become available in the EBT account for the household at 5 a.m. on the scheduled day. Your worker will explain more about the use of the EBT card to access and use your benefits.
We will now review your food stamp application page by page. Please be sure to answer all questions completely and correctly. Do not write in the shaded areas of this form. To begin the application process, complete page 1 of the application by giving your name, address, and signature. This page of your food stamp application is to identify your household for food stamp purposes and determine if you are eligible for expedited service. If this is an initial application and you are eligible to receive food stamps, your benefits will be prorated from the date you give the food stamp office page 1. Page 2 is used to list everyone who lives or stays in your house, full-time or part-time. Once you and your worker decide who is included in your food stamp household, you will be asked for information about the Social Security number, sources of income, resources, and expenses for each individual household member. A food stamp household may be an individual living alone, an individual living with others but who buys and prepares meals separately from the others, or who intends to buy and prepare their meals separately from the others who live there. A group of related or unrelated persons who live together and who buy and prepare their food together, or who intend to buy and prepare their food together.
Food stamp rules require that certain related persons must get food stamps as one household when they live together. These persons include spouses and natural adopted or stepchildren 21 years of age or under living with their parents. If any member of your household is not a U.S. citizen, you will need to show your worker proof of their alien status. Some examples of proof you will need are INS forms such as I-151, I-551, I-94 cards, or a re-entry permit. Not all aliens are eligible for food stamps. If you have any questions, please ask your worker. Now let's look at page 3. This page is used to tell us if anyone is a striker, a boarder, has voluntarily quit a job within the last 60 days, or has transferred resources.
Now we'll begin the section of your application where we determine your resources. On page 4, you are required to report any motor vehicles which anyone in your household has the title to, owns, or is paying for. This can be cars, trucks, vans, boats, motorcycles, or any other type motor vehicle that is registered in a household member's name.
These vehicles must be reported even if they do not run or have a current tag.
Another type of resource is property. On page 5, you must list any property or any portion of a piece of property other than your home anyone in your household has inherited, owns, or is buying. This includes information concerning a cemetery plot or livestock that is raised for sale by your household. Now let's look at page 6. Complete this section for yourself, your children, and all other members of your household. You need to include any cash on hand or savings at home, any money in the bank, credit union, or other places that anyone in your household keeps money. You also need to report things such as any savings bonds, certificates of deposit, stocks, IRAs, or other retirement accounts. List any account or fund on which your name or any household member's name appears. Make sure you read and check each block. If you think something might be a resource but you are not sure, please discuss it with your worker. You also need to know that if you put resources in someone else's name so that your household will be eligible for food stamps, you may be disqualified from receiving food stamps for up to 1 year. If you have any questions regarding these resources, please be sure to ask your worker. The area of your application which requests information about income from work begins on page 7. When your worker asks about income, you need to tell about any money from any source that is received by anyone in your food stamp household. This could be money from a job, money that is received in the form of a check or cash, or money that is legally owed to someone in your household. Some examples of earned income are cash or checks from working a regular full-time job, a part-time job, and occasional jobs such as babysitting or picking up cans, yard work or other odd jobs, self-employment, vacation pay, military pay, or any work that you do to earn money. On page 7, list anyone in your household who is working, the name of his employer, and the day of the week he is paid. You also need to tell us if anyone is self-employed. If you have any questions regarding this section, please be sure to ask your worker. Pages 8 and 9 cover other sources of income you may have. If anyone in your household gets a check or money from any source, be sure to put it on your application and discuss it with your worker. In most cases, you must provide proof of the income of all household members before your application can be completed. Some examples of unearned income are Social Security, SSI or VA checks, pension or retirement checks, unemployment or workman's compensation checks, sick pay, child support money,
Cash or checks from friends or relatives, or family assistance benefits.
Be sure to report all money that you receive and your worker will let you know if it must be counted. On pages 8 and 9, please check yes or no for all sources of income for all household members. If you check yes, you will be required to provide verification. If you have any questions regarding this section, please ask your worker. On page 10, if there are any students in your household who receive educational grants, scholarships, or loans, you will need to provide proof of their educational benefits and expenses. Your worker will give you a form to be completed by the school or college, trade school, or technical school.
You may have expenses which can be considered in determining your food stamp eligibility and amount of benefits. These include dependent care expenses, medical expenses for households containing elderly or disabled individuals, shelter costs, utility expenses, legally obligated child support payments paid to or for someone outside your household. If you want to have any of these expenses considered, you must complete the appropriate section on the application and provide all needed verification of these expenses.
On page 12, check yes or no to indicate if any household members pay for child care or care of a disabled adult in order to work, look for work, or go to school or training. If you check yes, complete all questions on this page.
Also on page 12 are questions you need to answer if you or anyone in your household is paying child support to someone outside of your household. You are entitled to a deduction for legally obligated child support that is paid to or for someone not living with you. If you have any questions about the child support deduction, ask your worker. Your worker will explain what verification you will need to provide in order to receive this deduction.
On page 13, answer all questions for household members who are age 60 or older or are eligible for or receiving Social Security disability, SSI, railroad retirement benefits, SUP, disability retirement benefits from a government agency, or VA disability benefits. On page 14 and 15, list all shelter and utility expenses. Please answer all questions on these pages.
A worker will tell you about the possibility of claiming a standard utility allowance or a basic utility allowance. If you have any questions, ask your worker. On page 16 and 17, please read the applicant's statement of understanding. Please answer all questions contained on these pages. These questions deal with your understanding of the application process, including cooperating with quality control. There are also questions about anyone being found guilty of selling food stamp benefits, fleeing felons, parole violations, individuals convicted of felonies dealing with illegal drugs. If you have any questions about these statements and questions, please ask your worker. It is very important that you answer all these questions honestly. After a decision is made on whether or not you are eligible for food stamps, you will receive a letter in the mail to let you know if you have been approved or denied. If you are eligible, you will be notified of the amount of benefits you will receive and how long you have been approved to receive these benefits. This will be your assigned certification period. At the end of this time, you must reapply and be determined eligible in order to continue to receive food stamp benefits. If you are ineligible, you will be notified why your application was denied. You may use your food stamp benefits to purchase food to prepare at home or for seeds to grow food. It is illegal to sell, trade, or give away your food stamp benefits. For most households, food stamp benefits will not be enough to provide all the food that you need, but they do help you to buy good food for your family's health. The rules of the food stamp program are federal guidelines made by the United States Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Services, based on laws passed by Congress. All states follow the same basic guidelines. State and federal officials randomly check to make sure the program is working correctly and that the right amount of food stamps are being issued. If your case is selected for one of these quality control reviews, someone will contact you and visit your home to talk to you about the information that you have given to the food stamp office. The quality control reviewer's job is to check and make sure that you are receiving the correct amount of benefits. It is important for you to cooperate in this review. If you fail to cooperate, your food stamp benefits will be terminated. If you have any questions about this, ask your worker to explain it to you. Always ask questions about anything that you do not understand. Your food stamp worker is here to help you to get the correct amount of benefits and to understand your responsibilities as a food stamp recipient. Anytime there is a change in the information that you have given to your worker, this must be reported so that you can continue to get the right amount of food stamps. If you do not quarterly report, it is your responsibility to report these changes within 10 days from the day you know about the change in your household circumstances. You may report changes to your worker in a variety of ways. You may write a letter, call on the telephone, visit the office, or complete the change report form given to you by your worker. If you do not quarterly report, you must report the following changes within 10 days of the date the change is known to you. A change in your address, changes in rent and shelter cost when you move, when someone moves in or out of your home, when the amount or source of money coming into your household changes, if someone in your household gets or loses a job, if you receive a lump sum payment like an insurance settlement, back payment on Social Security, or an inheritance, if you or anyone in your household gets a vehicle, if anyone outside your home starts or stops paying any of your bills for you. If you are not sure about whether or not to report a change, report it. Your worker will decide if it affects the amount of your food stamps.
The Department of Human Resources provides many services other than food stamps. Some services, such as protection of children and the elderly, are provided without regard to income. For other services, you must meet specific eligibility rules.
Some of the programs you may be eligible for include family assistance. This is a program to provide aid to families with dependent children.
Child support assistance. Protective services for children and adults. Foster care. Adoption services. Daycare services. And homemaker services. If you would like to know more about any other services, The receptionist will be able to tell you where you need to go to get additional information or to apply for assistance. We would also like to let you know that you have the opportunity to register to vote at each application, recertification, and when a change of address is reported in this office. If you do not wish to register or have already registered, please sign the declination form. Other adult members of your household may get a postcard registration form in the mail to complete and send to your local Board of Registrars. Your decision to apply or decline to register to vote has no effect on your food stamp eligibility or the amount of benefits you may receive. If you need help completing your form, the person giving you the form can help you. If you wish to fill out the form in privacy, you may do so. Please remember to turn in the form before you leave. Thank you for your attention. We hope that this video has answered some of the questions that you may have had about the food stamp program.
If you are required to quarterly report, you should receive a quarterly report form in the mail every 3 months. Your worker will tell you when you can expect to receive the form. It is very important that you complete, sign, and return this form to the food stamp office between the 1st and the 10th of the next month. You must complete and return this form every time you receive it to continue getting food stamps. If you do not return the quarterly report form, your food stamp benefits will stop and you will have to reapply and be interviewed before you can get any more food stamps. Please call our office or bring your quarterly report form in with you if you need assistance in completing the form. You will be asked to give information about your household for the month you receive the quarterly report form. Be sure to save your check stubs and other verification of any income your household receives that month to return with your form. The information you give the food stamp office will be used to figure the amount of food stamps you will receive for the next 3 months. You do not have to report any changes to the food stamp office except on this form, but you may call or write your worker to report changes between quarterly reports if you wish. When your certification period ends, you will have to file an application and come in for an interview. You will not get a quarterly report form to fill out the month before your certification period ends, since you will have to complete an application for recertification. Please read your quarterly report form very carefully and answer all of the questions. Number 1, household earned income. Always fill out the following items: name of person or persons who work, company name and address, how often income is received, for example, once a week, every 2 weeks, or once a month, date income is received and gross amount, before taxes and other deductions. You must attach pay stubs or signed statement from the employer to verify the gross wages received this month. Any tips, bonuses, vacation pay, or military pay should be reported here, and you should also tell us if it is a one-time payment or income that will not continue. If anyone has stopped working, a statement from the employer is needed to verify the last day worked and the last day paid. In the area of household unearned income, please list any money received by any persons in your household. This includes, but is not limited to, Social Security, SSI, AFDC, child support, unemployment compensation, pensions or retirements, veterans benefits, money from friends and relatives, or other kinds of money or checks. Show the person or persons receiving the income, where the money comes from, and the amount and date received. Be sure to attach proof if the amount has changed. In the area of household members, please answer all questions regarding household members. Be sure to report if there is a change in the household member's student status. If a new household member has moved in during the last 3 months, you must provide the following information for the new member: name, Social Security number or proof of Social Security number application, date of birth, date moved in, student and citizenship status. In the area of address change, please answer the questions in this section and give your new mailing and street address if you have moved. In the area of rent and utilities, if you have moved, please complete this section only if you have moved. You must provide verification of your new rent or mortgage payment if you have moved and answer all questions regarding utility bills. In the area of new vehicles, please answer the questions in this section and list any vehicles your household has gotten in the last 3 months. In the area of bank accounts and other money, please complete this section and list current balances in checking accounts or savings accounts for all household members. Also include amount of cash on hand for all household members. If your household does not have any bank accounts or other money, please enter 0. In the area of child support payments made by household members, if your household receives a deduction for court-ordered child support which a household member pays, please complete this section and provide proof if the court-ordered child support has changed or the household member no longer has to pay child support. Please remember your quarterly report form is not complete unless all required verification is attached and the report is signed. The report can be signed by any responsible household member or authorized representative. Do not sign or date the quarterly report form before the last day of the report month.